Hi, I'm Leah Montalongo, the OG Sindel. Please like, subscribe to NerdCage Live.
Excellent. And I know we don't have that much time left, so let's just. I could talk to you all day. I have millions and millions of questions. Obviously, we won't be.
We can do another one.
Yeah. We'll definitely have to have you back for another one. But let's transition to Killer Instinct. So I'm just gonna make the assumption, as you mentioned, as you showed Nintendo those demos of the fighting character sprites. I'm guessing it was that the gateway to what would become Killer Instinct.
Yeah, it was originally called. Well, I was always coming up with concepts for fighting games and trying to get Tim and Chris to let me make a fighting game. And the closest I ever got to it really would have been Wrestle Rage with Paul Makachek, which was I'd done a fair few wrestling games, and when we got the Super Nintendo, it was right, we're going to do one now, and it's just going to be an out-and-out brawler from left to right, and then maybe we'll have a VS mode, and we'll also have an exploration mode, a brawling mode. And I started building characters similar to the Ultimate Warrior, and it was all looking great, but then we hadn't really got any direction with it. And Tim's point of view was that fighting games were just a fad and they were going to come and go, and there were. The market was absolutely flooded with them at the time. So I wasn't really allowed to do that. I'd come up with concept after concept, and so... But... I worked on the Battletoads coin-op, and that was probably my Double Dragon fix, and so I tried to make it as close to that kind of thing as possible with the quite violent moves on there. But I built those characters, and I think originally we called it Brute Force, and we were going to have a memory card in it so that when you went to the arcade, it knew your position and everything like that. And but the beauty of it was the software allowed us to add all this, what they called natural phenomena, which was you could make a character out of water or ice or fire. And of course, after seeing the movie Terminator 2, the first thing I wanted to do was make Chrome Man. And then I thought, well, I can make a fireman. And I can make a man made out of iron and make him like a robot, because it didn't really lend itself towards organic characters, because at the time the software was a little bit crude. There wasn't really any way to make joints flex in a quick way. So I was tending to use these ball and socket joints on everything, which lent itself towards sort of manufactured characters that looked like, I don't know, cyborgs or something. But then they introduced some more features which allowed me to do that and have a more organic look. And so before long, I was scanning in pieces of steak off my dinner plate to use as textures to create for Riptor's neck. And
nice.
That kind of thing. I just started experimenting and building characters. And the most exciting thing about that game was the motion capture, because I was the only one that did any martial arts at the company, and of course I'd built the characters and I knew how to set them up, but we got this really primitive motion capture software called, it was by a company called Ascension. It was called the Flock of Birds, and we had to manufacture our own suits, which had all of these magnets running down cables, which ran down through these sort of shoulder pads and elbow pads. And one guy would sit there with the monitor and press the button to say record. And then I would stand on this makeshift platform, which we'd built. And it was kind of like a small stage with this hugely heavy motion capture equipment hanging above me. So if I moved too far forwards, it would have fallen on top of me and broke my neck. And I would just start pulling off moves, which I could use for any character, because obviously you threaded that into any skeleton and a character. And it was quite funny to see a dinosaur walking around like this and putting its hands on its hips when it was taking a breather, when you'd got it left. It was quite wireframe dinosaur sitting there having a cup of tea between takes and stuff. So,
now, I know you played Jago. Were there any other characters that you portrayed?
Yeah, it was all of them.
Oh, you did all of them? Okay. I thought it was just Jago. Okay.
I think the only one... I did the motion capture for pretty much all of them, and I did the voices for Jago and a few others, like Glacius. But no, the motion capture was even Orchid, I put some high heel shoes on to make sure that I could walk more like a lady, because otherwise it just kind of picked up a different movement because it was that sensitive, and you could tell it was a guy walking around. So, yeah, I think the only one I didn't do moves for were TJ Combo.
That was John Parrish, right, from Mortal Kombat?
No, it was Simon Farmer at Rare.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he would swap into the suit and he did the moves for Combo, at least on the first game and the second game. But the only other guy that did some motion capture was Chris Tilston, one of the software, one of the designers on the team. He actually stood there with the sword like this, and he was Tusk in the second game.
Yes, Tusk. Yeah.
So,
the barbarian. Yeah.
Yeah, the rest of it was myself. So.
Okay, and I hate to do the Dance Monkey Dance thing, but could you possibly just do your Jago voice real quick?
Indokyuken!
Yeah!
Indokyuken! That was it. It actually means ball of fire or throwing ball. We made the word up, and I think we had a Japanese translator over with us at the time, and he double checked and says, "No, that does. It makes sense." So.
And also, what was your style? Like, what style of martial arts did you study? What was your discipline?
It was just karate from the age of around about. I did judo for a while when I was really little, but I did karate from I don't know, maybe 13 till about 18. I had to give that up when I was at Rare because I ended up coming in on crutches after the odd competition. So I can remember Tim had a word with me one day and said, "Look, Kevin, it's starting to affect your work now. It's either your job or your ninjutsu, whatever you want to do."
Yes.
But we'd like to see you in without bruises. So yeah, I kind of knocked that on the head because I'd hurt my ankles and stuff quite a lot. So
that was awesome. Thanks so much for sharing that Killer Instinct story. Again, I'd love to talk more Killer Instinct.